What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Son of a Tech once again, and today, back-to-back live testing. Yesterday, we tested out the NiceHash Quick Miner release for the 100% light hash rate unlock. Let me get this music paused. And now, we follow it up with a release from NBMiner, who just came out with a 100% light hash rate unlocker that works on both Windows and Linux for everything but the RTX 3050 and the RTX 3080 12 gigabyte. Well, actually, it doesn't say anything about that in the release, so maybe we'll test out that 3050 while we got it going. Here's the patch notes real quick. Released 10 hours ago. 100% light hash rate unlocker added for both Windows and Linux. Run NBMiner with admin privileges to get 100% light hash rate unlock. Tested and verified on drivers 512.15 for Windows and 510.60. Is the audio not working for you guys? The audio is working over here for me, so let me double check again and make sure we're good to go before we continue. Before we continue, I'll double check. Let's double check it. I'm showing it here. Let's see here. Is the audio not working? The audio is working, so I'm going to continue on. Giving me a hard time over here. All right, so we have other driver versions may have some compatibility issues. It does note, and previous LHR mode is removed. Now, a big note about this that I wanted to point out is that if the previous LHR modes are removed and it doesn't work with the RTX 3050 or the RTX 3080 12 gigabyte, you may want to watch out as these get released for other miners like Team Black Miner, who I think currently has the highest hash rate for, well, no, LOL Miner just beat out Team Black Miner on the RTX 3050, I believe. But you'd want to roll back essentially that version depending on. It looks like as well that what I'm seeing is a lot of mixed rigs are having issues. As you guys saw at the beginning of the stream, we had the RTX 3080 Ti stock settings and the RTX 3060 stock settings. I'm going to be moseying back here. We're going to be getting overclock set on the RTX 3080 Ti. Starting there, we're going to be recording, of course, the power consumption, all of that sort of stuff. For the HiveOS guys, don't worry, we've already confirmed we can get it working with HiveOS. Red Fox Crypto has a guide and a tutorial on how to get it up and running. I also have a guide with a couple extra pointers and tips for HiveOS that will be coming out tonight. I just didn't want to back too much of these up, and look at that, it looks like we actually just crashed on the system on the test bench here. So this is why we test. Leave it to us to get the problems, right? So let's go see if we can figure out what's going on, what's wrong, and see if we can fix it, huh? Let's see. Oh yeah, that is gone. All right, so we got a full reboot. It was, at least it made it through the beginning of the stream, am I right? Let's go ahead and power it down. Hard reset it and see what happens. And then we'll go from there. Awesome stuff. I'm going to check out chat. Remember, super chats are never required, always appreciated, the easiest to read. Tagging at Son of a Tech makes it easier for me to go ahead and get it read. We'll have to figure out what's causing instability issues here. We did not have the same instability issue yesterday with, of course, the NiceHash Quick Miner. All right. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody got their Mother's Day calls done. Maybe went and had lunch. We did lunch and all of that. All right, we are back in, so let's go ahead and get rolling. Make sure I get all this kind of configured so I can see it. We had no overclocks applied and we had a crash. We're going to go ahead and check Event Viewer and see if we can find out why we had a crash, maybe. Maybe a little easy one. That's just the typical stuff. Nothing right off the bat. We know it was unexpected. What time was that at? 1:46:45. 46:45. Critical. Didn't cleanly shut down. Maybe we just lost video, to be completely frank with you guys. So for this testing, what we may do to make sure we aren't causing any issues with video is go ahead and edit this file. Let's go to NBMiner. Where are their notes? Do they have notes? Should just be here and here. And scroll down. And we're looking for commands, mining pool, URL, user, password, specify GPU list, -D. All right, perfect. So then all we need to do from there is do device manager. Take a look here. It looks like the 3060 is first, so we're just going to do one, -D1. I think will be correct. Something like that. The only other thing is maybe we'll go ahead and change this URL to like 2 miners. Just so we have a good connection. Get rid of that port. Save that up. Right click, and this is important on this one, guys. You run as administrator. Okay. Now, what did it do? It turned off the 3080 Ti, so it turned off the wrong one. Let's quit out and just change that to 0. Right click and run as administrator. Make sure that's running correctly. 3080 Ti, that is plugged into this RM850X. We have it jumped with a 24 pin, the 4 and 5 pin on the 24 pin. And so we have that plugged in through a kilowatt directly. And we have it currently reading watts. It's reading at 354 watts on the kilowatt. I do need to get some video going for you guys over here at some point. Don't worry, I'll be working on that. So let's go ahead and initial it's saying 81. Let's let it get going all the way through. Get rid of this. And then we do have Afterburner ready to go as well. So we can kind of pull that up over here. Afterburner's a little tiny. Let's see if we can make that bigger for you guys. User interface. Is there a way to make this bigger? Scaling. There we go. Hold on. Let's get that scaling going. That's better, huh? Okay. So now we know that we essentially have we were able to get it up to 10,951 on the memory overclock. That was the total. Right now it's at 9,251, so we should be able to push the memory clock, and we should be able to bring that GPU core clock down as well. So we'll start there. Let me get my phone though for pictures of the kilowatt. Texas Ace says, I got NBMiner working on a Hive. I already did it, and I already did a guide for it. I just didn't release it because Red Fox already had. The guide will be out at 9 o'clock tonight, so you can watch mine with a couple extra little tips. But Red Fox has it covered right now. If you need to go watch, it's pretty easy to do. So right now, the kilowatt is showing 490 watts at 104 mega hash a second. That's stock settings, okay? Make sure this is good. So that's pretty bad right now. So we need to get that sorted, huh? Drag this up so you guys can see it beyond the curve. Yeah, all right, so what we're gonna do is start off with memory clock, right? I believe we could go up to 1500 megahertz on this pretty easy, but we'll take it easy at first. 1300 would be pretty safe, so let's go ahead and clock that in and see how it reacts to 1300. All right, Ryan says, last time Tech, did you get any NAs in your HiveOS NBMiner version? No, it was running really, really stable. It ran for about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I just went out to the farm and took these off of it to bring it out here. That's 116 mega hash a second. That's with a plus 1300 megahertz memory overclock. An afterburner. Let's go ahead and bump that up to 1400. Now remember, NiceHash Quick Miner was getting us to, on the extreme profile, 125 mega hash a second. The total memory clock read out was 10,951. We're total at 10,652 megahertz with a plus 1400 megahertz overclock, and that has nailed us 120 mega hash a second. Let's go ahead and bump up to 1500. Taking it slow so we find the point as to where it will crash. That has bumped us up to a total of 10,751. In theory, we should be able to go up plus 200 more megahertz because we know this card was doing that yesterday on NiceHash Quick Miner. So I think I will do that jump up to plus 1700 megahertz. So we're kind of getting an idea here. I'm pretty confident it'll go. That got us to 122 mega hash a second. This is 10,951 megahertz on the memory core. Nothing, or the memory clock, nothing touched on the core yet. This is pretty much the memory overclock that we got yesterday on NiceHash. There's 124 mega hash a second. Looking pretty good. If you guys don't mind sharing the stream out and always hitting that like button to help us out if you like this kind of live content that we've been doing lately too, a little different. I say we, it's just me, but I mean, the channel, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just keep going. So 1700 megahertz, 124.9 mega hash a second. Pretty much nice hash extreme settings yesterday. The power consumption right now is 536 watts at the wall. That's a gold rated 850 watt Corsair power supply on a 120 volt circuit, just to be clear. Power in the software is reading 264, which is quite a bit lower than what our actual pull is at the wall. So let's go ahead and try to go to 1750. What do you guys say? We'll do 1750 first, and then we'll go to 1800 and see what happens, see how far we can push this. Raymond asks, why not use HiveOS or SMOS? We have used HiveOS and SMOS, and there's already going to be a guide for HiveOS for you. Why wouldn't we use HiveOS here? Well, because this is a lot more visual and a little bit easier to tinker with. And we also need to have Windows information. We already have Hive information. We don't have Windows information yet, so that is the reasoning. In fact, the guide is already recorded and scheduled to release tonight. That puts us at a total of 11,001 megahertz on the memory at plus 1750, which is giving us 125.5 mega hash a second. We are at 540 watts at the wall now. Let's go ahead and push this baby as far as we can go. Let's hit that 1800 megahertz, and we're going to keep going until we get a crash, or we max out this slider, whichever comes first. Yeah, because that's how we do it. Break it. That puts us at 11,051 megahertz. That's a plus 1800 megahertz memory overclock. Puts us still just at 125.5 mega hash a second. Diminishing returns at this point. That could be because the memory is hot, to be frank. Yeah, it says the memory temperature is at 104, as read by the software here. So I think that's really what's holding us back. 125.6 mega hash a second. Let's go ahead and try to push it further though, 1850. Because why wouldn't we? That puts us at 11,102 megahertz total on the memory with an 1850 megahertz overclock. Temperature is still staying around 104. Our throttle on 3000 series is at 110. We know that very well. This has actually started to throttle though. We're at 124.5 mega hash a second. So our sweet spot is 1750 megahertz overclock plus 1750 megahertz overclock, which puts our memory total at 11,001 megahertz. This is all on air, Christian R. It's the For the Win 3. It does have upgraded pads. That puts us at 126 mega hash a second. And the power consumption is at 543 watts at the wall. Once again, 120 volt circuit through an 850 watt gold rated Corsair 850 watt power supply. There you go. That is all the information I have. Let's start tweaking in the power limits, etc., core clocks, and so on. Now, if I recall, we were able to get the core clock quite a bit lower on the 3070 Ti, but not on the 3080 Ti. So there's a couple things we could tweak in, of course, if we went into like the full-on voltage editor and so on. It may not be necessary though. Let's go ahead and start with the core clock. Let's bring it down 300. and apply that. Let's see if that stays steady. That brings the GPU core clock down to 1620 megahertz, and it brings our power consumption down. Ooh, too much. That's going to be a crash. Interesting. Hold on, maybe not. It recovered. Definitely brought the temperature down. We're still mining. I saw the kilowatt drop to 190 watts briefly there, which is why I was thinking maybe we were going to run into some issues. That brought our hash rate down, though, from 125 mega hash a second to 123. We're going to let it stabilize, though, because this may be partially due to it having that little blip. So let's give it a second and get another roll through here. Mr. Alerts is asking for the mixed. I would never suggest mixed in the first place for stability, but there are issues, of course, with this one being mixed. Seems to be okay if you mix it with older GPUs, I suppose, like was it 10 series? But as soon as you go and mix it, we're going to be testing the 3050 here in a second, because that's one thing that we had an issue with NiceHash QuickMiner. And then we can test it with the other mix, but really, you want to just set, you can add 2 miners in HiveOS. I'm willing to do that guide and tutorial for you guys. That removes a lot of the issues, of course. So, one to look at. All right, so this brings us down to 1620 megahertz on the core. All right, we're still sitting at around 126 mega hash a second, and brought our power down from 530 watts to 470 watts at the wall. We're just going to go ahead and click it in a little bit more. We're going to go down to negative 400 and apply that. In the software, the power is reading 231, so it did record that 30 watt power dump. This is bringing us down to what, 226? And that is 15 megahertz on the core. For Afterburner, we may have to get in there and actually tune this down with absolute core clocks. Let's go ahead and look that up real quick. Afterburner, I forgot where the option is. Absolute core, there we go. I remember I've looked it up before. That's not it. I don't want to watch a video. We'll watch a video. You guys know this guy? I don't know this guy. Let's mute it. Okay, it is in where I thought it was then. Yeah, you just bring the whole line down. So that is right, what is it? Here on the curve editor. But that's just the voltage. Okay, maybe I do need to watch that a little bit more closely. No, that's voltage. That's locking the voltage. Yeah, it's just locking the voltage down. Okie doke. Thought you could set absolute core, but I don't remember where that is. Do you guys remember where that is, or if that's possible, or if it is just lock? Lock it in NBMiner itself. That's a good idea. Oscar is asking, why are you using MSI Afterburner and not OC-Tune? That was recommended by NiceHash. Because this ain't NiceHash, son. This is NBMiner. My NiceHash. NiceHash. We got a real miner up in this house. A real miner. All right, so this is 1515 megahertz. That dropped us down to 463 watts at the wall at 126 megahash a second. Let's go down as far as it'll allow us, down to that negative 500. That's going to bring us down to the 1400 megahertz on the core. And you know what happened? We just installed it and it started working. Probably works on Windows 11 just frickin' fine too. I bet you. It's the great unlocking preceding the great hash rate migration. Put on your tinfoil hats, boys. Put on your tinfoil hats. All right, so this would be, really we'll probably lock this in NBMiner, but this would be what I would consider to be the best for this in particular right now. Go ahead and take a picture. It's 458 watts, about 460 watts really, 126 megahash a second. That is 1410 on the core, 11,001 on the memory. We can definitely tune that down a little bit more. Negative 502 is what the setting is in MSI Afterburner, plus 1750 there. All right. Let me get a screenshot preview of that. Is NBMiner open source? That's a good question. I know that they're on GitHub, but I don't think they have the actual packages available because you can't install it like a custom miner at this time. So I want to lean towards no. Gminers comes out tomorrow. Isn't it interesting that NBMiner is way ahead, but then they sit around and do nothing for a while? I wonder if they got a little bit of NVIDIA dev leak going on to them or something. Because it feels like it takes like LOL Miner and everybody else a long time to reverse engineer this stuff. PC Pacer says go into Curve Editor, select the core you want, and then push L to lock it in Afterburner. But the Curve Editor is not giving me, that only gives me frequency. Oh, is it? No, don't do overclock scanner. Oh, thank God it didn't work. Okay. Frequency megahertz. So we just select the one we want and then press L is what you're saying. So if I wanted to go down from 1410 to 1300, doesn't seem to work for me. I'm an idiot, so tell me how we do this. I just select one. Let's say we want to go down to 1350, right? And then hit L. But I want to do it to all of them. I need a guide. All right, I'm going to come read. You guys will teach me. I believe in you. Drag the V core up and down. Hold control, says Texas Ace. That way I can just read chat and not have to do anything else. Control brings the whole thing down. Got it. So if I wanted to bring it down I'd really want to bring it down from here, right? To like 1350 is what we said, is what we'll start out at. And then lock it. How do you apply it? Do I got to go in here? I feel like it'd be easier to lock it in the unlock voltage, monitor force constant voltage. Apply. Yeah, restart it. You son of a gun. Curve editor. Control. Bring the whole thing down to 1350. Lock it. All right, tell me how to apply it, since I'm an idiot. Austin Jones says, aren't you pumped you spent 8 hours getting to work on NiceHash yesterday? I know I am. Hey, it is what it is. That's what I do. That's what we're here for, right? Bring it down all the way and apply. It should make it flat. Then you can go too low in Windows. Press apply on the main window. Okay, so once I have it applied here, right, just in theory, then I just hit check mark here. Yep, okay, and it brought it down to 1335. Perfect, okay. And that dropped our power consumption down to 436, and we're still sitting at 126 megahash a second. So we can probably drop down another 50 megahertz. We'll keep going. Boot Andy says, full unlock 2 weeks before the merge. It won't be 2 weeks. They haven't even started rolling the dates or rolling the test nets. Remember, from the announcement, you have 8 weeks. So if on the 13th, which is this coming Friday, if on the 13th they announce it, you have 8 weeks from that day. That being said, if they announce it, the difficulty on the network's going to go wild because they won't be diffusing the difficulty bomb. All right. Also, we need to check this with Ethereum Classic. It looks like that did bring our hash rate down to 121 mega hash a second, unfortunately, so not good. Let's go up to 1375 and see if that helps it. If I recall, it was pretty finicky below 1400. Anyways, on mine in particular. Texas Ace says, that sound effect just go as low as it can go. It stops around 1300 on Windows. Well, we're trying to see when we get rid of the, like we lost hash rate. So we're losing hash rate at this level. Really. So we're trying to bring the hash rate back up now. Unsuccessfully, I may add. Around 1450 was where we were at. Oh, nope, leave it there. 125.6. That was at 1375. Okay. Brings us down to 1380 megahertz a second, 125.6. That drops our wattage at the wall to 458 watts, which is still much higher than what NiceHash was yesterday. We got a $5 super chat from Max Camacho. Says, are you still buying 1660 supers for the EVGA Super 1660 super clock? Do you BIOS mod it for the higher hash rate? I do not BIOS mod them for the higher hash rate. I like the lower temperatures right now because of the situation I'm in from that perspective. I am not buying any GPUs right now. I will probably be buying a 3080 light hash rate, a 3070 light hash rate for the test suite, etc. Frankly, its margins are so tight that I'm not really able to buy much. Is the deal. That's kind of where everybody's at. So we really didn't get much in power consumption drop here. We only got 10 watts. NiceHash we had much better yesterday. Let me go look at those reports again so I can get an idea of what it was at, because I do have screenshots here. And the question, of course, is what was it doing? To get us that low yesterday, the 3080 Ti had a core clock of 1484. It was able to turn the core voltage down to 787 millivolts. The core voltage is at 1062 here, so now we have to drag this down. We have to drag these down, right? How do we do that? So we lock the, oh, okay, I see. So we take this and we click and we lock the voltage. So the way we do this, for example, is if we want to be at 800 right there, then we'd hit lock. We'd lock the voltage there, but bring the, we want to flatten this out, right? So shift, nope, not the way I wanted to go. Control moves the whole thing. How do we move? Give me a second to derp through this, guys. So we need to bring, we basically need to bring this up to whatever we want it to be at, right? Which was the 1400, about 1400, somewhere around there. But we want to bring all of these up, right? But we want it to go up as a curve. So this is a little weird. Can I Z that? I can Z that. So I can Z that. So we take this one at 800, right? And we just pull that out to 1400. Does that work? Somewhere like that. And then we lock it at that, 800, and then we apply. There we go. 800 millivolts on the core, about 1400 megahertz. Let's see what that looks like. Should be able to get that down to 787 millivolts. This is pretty good improvement though. That puts us at 354 and 123 mega hash. We need to bring this core clock up a little bit more, right? So at 800, we need to bring it up to like 1450 if possible. So let's bring that up. We're still at the same voltage, right? Let's apply that. It's going to bring our core clock up, which should start to compensate and bring the hash rate up. That's kind of the goal, what we're looking at here. Texas Ace. Yeah, I hear you, but at the same time, it also doesn't matter because of this yellow line. So this yellow line right here is where it locks anyways, so it really shouldn't matter much. That puts us at 125.9 mega hash a second at 364 watts on the wall. That's what we're looking for, boys. In the software, reading 158 watts. Software 147 on NiceHash. So we still have some tweaking we could do. We can bring this voltage down a little bit more, right? So we could come down to here, 793, 787. We could lock it to there and bring that 787 up to 1450. Somewhere around there. Apply that. Wish you could just type the number in. There we go. Now we're looking better, right? Yeah, a little bit better. I think we can go down even more. That's 787 millivolts. This is NiceHash settings, NiceHash QuickMiner OC Tune Extreme Profile, by the way. They go up to 1480 megahertz on the core, but I don't think that's necessary. We're getting better hash rate than we were on NiceHash QuickMiner. We're at 126 mega hash a second. Software is reading 156 watts. At the wall is reading 350 watts. This is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty dang good. I'm really happy with this. Remember, gold rated power supply, 120 volt circuit, reading from the wall, 368 watts. Be better on 220. It'll be better on platinum rated power supplies in a setting like a farm. I'm going to go ahead and screen cap this so I don't lose it. And just to make sure, because this is feeling really good. And then what we're going to do is screen cap that. So we have it for the video later. Screenshot the preview, and boom, done. All right, so now what I want to do is see if we can get even lower, right? We want to beat the piss out of NiceHash. Let's see if we can do this. That'll be 781. So let's go to 775. Bring this up to the 1450, right? We know 1450 is fine. So right around 1450. And then let's apply that out. See if we get any crashes. Bring that voltage down to 768 millivolts. That drops our power down a little bit more. But we did drop down to 124 mega hash a second. I think the previous setting was the best we're going to get, guys. $768, 1455. So I think that, nope, we're at 126 mega hash a second, 356 watts, reading 153. All right, let's go further then. Let's go ahead and knock this down even further. Let's lock it at 768 real quick, out of curiosity. That remains locked at 768. So we have to go down to 762. Let's bring that up to 1450. Lock that in. Apply that out. Let's see if we lose anything. We're still running. We've dropped temperature on the core down pretty good too. 1455 megahertz on the GPU, 126 mega hash a second. Still remaining at that. Did we drop power consumption? A little bit, like a watt or two, not really a lot. Let's go ahead and go down to 756, lock it there, bring it up to 1450, lock that there. Let's drop it down to 750 millivolts. That drops our power consumption below 350 watts. 126 megahash still. Ooh, we got more to go, boys. We got more to go. Nice. Loving it. I'm going to screen cap this before we lose it, just to make sure. Let's go. Mem temp is high. It's been at 104. Now, we do know that mem temp throttles at 110C on the 3000 series GDDR6X specifically, which is the memory that's in this. All right, so we're going to go down to 750 millivolts. No, we're already at 750. This was at, what is it? So 756. So we'll drop, yeah, we'll drop down to that. Bring it up there, lock it in. I'm waiting for that crash is essentially what we're waiting for, guys. $126 megahash a second at the wall, down another watt to 348, and that power consumption in the readings 147. Well, even NVIDIA will tell you that 110 degrees Celsius is safe. The problem that you run into is, because remember, this was the NVIDIA gate that everybody brushed over, nobody paid attention to, and they completely screwed everybody over on. Remember? This was the New World crashing. The New World crashing partially was due to those temperatures. And they started arguing with people that were RMAing the 3090s because the temperature was sitting at 110C, saying that it was spec'd to run at 110C, which is true. However, it's rated to run at 110C, but it will never go above 110C because it will throttle before then, meaning that you're losing performance. So while they say it's within spec to run at that, the card is gimping itself as soon as it hits that temperature. This is the problem that we've run into with the 3000 series, specifically the 3090 and the 3080 for a while now. So NVIDIA will tell you it's perfectly fine. I beg to differ a little bit. That took us down to 125 megahash a second. So really, where we're locked at was there. 1455 megahertz, 756 millivolts. That's max hash, not max efficiency. Technically, we could play around with efficiency more. Pranav says, whole computer crashes as soon as I launch QuickMiner. Check the description below, pick yourself up NBMiner, and get rid of QuickMiner. Problem solved. We had the same crashing issues yesterday all day on stream. Let me get a picture of this, make sure I got one of the kilowatt. And then we'll get you guys the efficiency numbers as well. That's showing 351 watts at the wall, 120 volt circuit on a gold rated power supply, to be clear. If we run that efficiency out, 126 megahash a second divided by 350 is 0.36 megahash per watt. Let's go ahead and get this shut down, get a 3070 Ti in, and play from there. Damien Ives, from the very beginning of the stream, like no overclocks, nothing applied. The 3080 Ti will do 104 mega hash a second at 540 watts. So we have increased our hash rate by at least 20 mega hash a second, and we have, yeah, we've increased our hash rate by 20 mega hash a second and decreased our power by 200 watts with these settings. And this will all be covered later as well. So let's go ahead and kill the miner so we don't crash the system. Let's kill Afterburner. Let's reset everything. And let's get the 3070 Ti plugged on up. Sound good? Is there a trick to get this kind of power in Hive, says Trevor. There's not really voltage control in Hive, last I checked, which is part of the problem. There is. I don't know if NBMiner has the clicks that you can do, though. So let me look real quick. If I recall, your overclocking would have to, you'd have to go into the overclocking tab, I think it is. No, it doesn't have it. Okay. I do not, I'll look into it more. Maybe some people in chat know. Let's go ahead and get the 3070 Ti plugged up. James, I think that efficiency is pretty good. You'd be hard pressed to beat that because that core is all the way down. I know compared to the nice hash test we did for it on their max efficiency setting, you took a hit down to like 15 mega hash a second, but the power consumption was still over 350 watts. If you're tinkering and you're pulling the core down as far as you can, it's a moot point. But that's why we go with the memory clock first. We bring that up to see how high it can go. And then once we get that, we see how low the core clock can go. And that's why we end up with the end results like we did. Yes, you can lock it. So for HiveOS, and that's a good point. Thanks, guys. In HiveOS, depending on the miner you're using, so with NBMiner, you could do it where you can lock the core voltage. And you'll need to do that per card. I think for testing core voltage, Windows is a little easier. Because modifying your sorry, I'm trying to plug something in. Modifying your command arguments over and over can be a little time consuming because you got to restart the miner every time. So understanding where your card's going to land before you get there is a little better, right? At least in my opinion. Makes it easier. Because then you have a good starting point for when you plug it into those files. But HiveOS itself, I think, was the question, and HiveOS doesn't have a lock itself. So I think you do have to use the use it like that. All right. Scoot over. There we go. That'll sort of work. This card's bigger. Zotacs are big, boys. Big boys. There we go. All right, so let's get the 3070 Ti going. Boom! Grover Clark says, "Ask Son of a Tech, just got here. Sorry if it's been asked. Can you mix full hash rate and light hash rate on HiveOS? I have a full 3080 Ti rack at 119 megahash a second, but I have not tried the 3080 rack of mixed full hash rate and light hash rate." So if you are gonna do it, set different miner setups for it. Seems to be the best way, but it's not great. I never like it in general, because then you just introduce additional points of failure essentially. From what I've heard right now though, you could even do both NBminers, but just set up 2 different NBminers and specify the GPUs. All right, so we got the 3070 Ti in here ready to go. I'm going to run out to my truck for something real quick, but I will start this. Be right back. Not working on the 5600 XT. I have a full 5600 XT guide. All you have to do is search for the Ultimate 5600 XT Mining Guide by Son of a Tech and follow that guide, and you'll be locked in. I create guides for those. Right now, we are currently trying to create and work on guides for these particular cards. Essentially, please just try to watch all the content that I do. If it has a particular need, like a 5600 XT or a specific card, I work tirelessly on all of these things. We have thousands of videos. This primary focus is the 3000 series, specifically the light hash rate unlock ones. And the 5600 XT guide is pretty in-depth and is going to take some time for you to learn and pay attention to. It's nothing I can address in a live stream when I need to focus on something else. All right, I think this is still working. Yep. I don't know how CPU usage would be relevant. We could pull it up for you though in a bit. Okie doke. Damon said, "I read you need to do -100 or -200 less on memory. you would normally overclock to. That didn't prove out to be true here. Specifically on the 3080 Ti, we had a plus 1750 megahertz overclock. Let's get to work on the 3070 Ti. How about that, boys? Let me go ahead and get my base from yesterday so I know where I'm at. So I know what we have going here. All right, so memory overclock should be the same on the 3070 Ti as it was on the 3080 Ti. It won't be the same hash rate, but it should be the same overclock. It looks like the core voltage we can easily go down to 787 millivolts, and the core clock we had down to 1,000. So let's get to work. So that means that in theory we should be able to go straight to 1750 megahertz right off the bat. Or no, hold on, 1700 megahertz right off the bat on the memory. Let's see what that gets us. It looks like something's wrong because we are only at 38 mega hash a second. So something doesn't seem to have oh, hold on. Let's close this. Always remember, guys, and I just forgot too, that you have to right-click and run NBMiner as administrator. Don't forget that, and we'll be good. Hey, it happens. All right, so we have the 3060 disabled. That should get us going. We got the memory at plus 1700 megahertz, and we should start getting numbers here soon. Nicholas says, at Son of a Tech, you opened the miner, said you needed to run as admin. Beware. Yeah. We already have fully tested the 3080 Ti. I'm aware. I was just double clicking it so you guys had something to look at while I went and got something. That's all. 64 mega hash a second. Seems low. Let's think about this. Let's let it build out a little bit more. I believe we were at well above 80. There it is, 83 mega hash a second. Okay, that's where we're hitting there now. All of the specific cards that we've been testing today, or that we will test or get to testing, are all linked down below with an Amazon affiliate account. There are cards available. I don't know about the pricing, but even if you just click the Amazon affiliate account and you purchase something else, I don't get as much of a cut, but I get some of a cut, and that little 3% can honestly change, you know, my life as far as how much of this work I can do, etc. So I appreciate it a lot if you do utilize it. 83 mega hash a second. Our starting point is 329 watts. So we're going to get to work on the overclock with the curve, or the underclock of the core with the curve editor. So we got the curve editor out, and I believe it was, what did we say? Our starting point's going to be 787 millivolts and 1,000 on the 1,000 on the core. So I'm going to drag it all the way down here. So 780 millivolts, somewhere around there. There's 781. We're going to drag that down to 1,000, right? Somewhere right around 1,000. Then we're going to go ahead and apply that. Oops, I didn't lock it. I'm a dummy. Doesn't matter. We'll get it. Hold on. I got ahead of myself. That happens. So 787. Drag that down to 1,000. or thereabouts. Hit L to lock it. Apply. There we go. That brings us down to 1350 megahertz on the go. Oh, it keeps bringing that back up. Interesting. So to lock it further, we wouldn't be able to utilize MSI Afterburner because it's not letting us go below 1300 or 1335. But it is staying stable at 787 millivolts, so that's not too bad. Let's go ahead and check the power numbers, all that. 1051 megahertz on the memory. Where'd we go? That's 220 watts at the wall. 194 watts in the software, 83 megahash a second. Let's go ahead and bump it down again. We'll go down and lock it to 781. Apply. Let's see how low we can get this going. That tanked our memory. Did you see that memory go down? Yeah. So the cap here is right there, 787. Does that bring our memory back up? It does not. We may have to reset from fresh then. Yep, okay. So let's refresh. 1700, enter. Bring that back up. Let's hit this back. 1787 does seem to be our best bet. Well, doesn't really matter where we bring it down here. It's going to lock it no matter what. And check. We go down to 1335 megahertz on the core, 787 millivolts on the core, 10,951 megahertz on the memory. That gives us, it'll give us 83 megahash a second at 220 watts. Remember, at the wall, gold rated power supply, 120 volt circuit, 220 watts, 83.47 megahash a second. This is an efficiency beast. What is that going to give us again? 83.4 divided by 220 at the wall, 0.37 megahash per watt. That's pretty good. All right. So I am going to go ahead and pull this memory up to 1750, because remember, we were able to get 1750 out of 3090, which got us to 126 megahash a second. Let's see if this will get us a little higher before we lock in these numbers. Grover Clark says, "Ask HiveOS, what hash rates were you getting in HiveOS for the 3080 Ti? I'll have to tweak those in by setting the absolute clocks. We got to 83.8 megahash a second, but it was around 115 megahash a second. But it wasn't real. I didn't tune it much at all. I'll be tuning that later on." Ken says, "Ask HiveOS, I tried some 3070 Ti's this morning. They are all sold out on Newegg. And also, I just checked your link, all gone." Fun. That makes sense. Almost 84 megahash a second, boys. Do you think we can pump it up? Pump, pump, pump it up. Pump, pump, pump it up. Pump, pump, pump it up. Let's go to 1800. Let's see if we can crank that out even higher. That's 11,051 megahertz. There we go. We cracked 84 megahash a second. Fudge yeah. And that puts us at 220 watts. That brings our efficiency up even further, 84.37 mega hash a second. Oh, you know we're going to do it. You know we're going to 1850, boys. Go big or go home. 11,102 megahertz on the core, still sitting at 220 watts, 84.5 mega hash a second. This is the RTX 3070 Ti using NBMiner version 41 on Windows 10 and using MSI Afterburner to overclock and manually setting the core voltages. .79 mega hash a second. Can we do it? I think we can do it. Our mem temp is only at 82C. Give me that 1900, baby. Can you do it? Can you do it? 85 mega hash a second, 220 watts. It's going to happen right now. Right now. Right now. Andrew Simmons, yes. NBMiner, links in the description. 85 mega hash a second. 220 watts. Yeah. No! Almost made it. And B-Sod. You guys saw it. You saw it. There it is. We can't do it. We got close. We got close. It looks like, what was it, 1800 megahertz? Damn. All right. Well, we know where we're at. 84 mega hash a second, 284.5 mega hash a second, 220 watts of the wall. So close. We cracked it for a second. It is what it is. I do have to get this screenshot, so we're going to run it real quick. Oh, that was exciting, though. Didn't it feel good when it worked for a little bit? Oh, it felt good when it worked for a little bit. That kind of crash just means that memory can't go any further. It wasn't getting too hot. It just means that memory can't go any further. It's fine. Rabid Mining in the chat, by the way, guys. Make sure you go follow his channel. And we're still looking for group for the great Ethereum hash rate migration coming up. All right, so let's go ahead and get these clocked in again so I can get a screenshot. We know we could do, let's see how long, let's see if this will, 1850 will keep us going for a while. 1850, I think 1800, yeah, really, 1800 was safe because we were able to go up from there. I usually go 2 ticks down. 1800 megahertz there. Let's hit the core or the editor here. 787 millivolts, remember, is where we're at. We lock it there. Apply. It'll flatten us out. No worries. That's what we expect. And start Ethereum. Drag this up so you can see the readout over my fat head in the camera. We got to run with admin privileges. We're going to keep forgetting that. So remember, right click, run as admin. Boom. Done. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. All right, coming back for questions. Game Tigger says, SM Tech, I'm getting 85.8 mega hash a second on my 3070 Ti MSI Gaming Trio with 215 watts. At the wall? Nice, dude. Congrats. What's your core clock at? Andrew W. says, SM Tech, was about a week ago you stumbled upon your videos. Well, welcome to the channel. Thanks for making mining fun. Awesome. Glad I make it fun. We got the 3080 Ti to 126 megahash a second today. The lowest we could get the voltage was what? Do you guys remember? I have a screenshot of it. Hold on. Oh, I got screenshots because I have to prove it all, right? I think we only got it down to 750. Yeah, we got it down to 750 millivolts, which read out to 100 and, yeah, it's way off in the software. Read out to 148 in the software, but double that, about 350 watts at the wall. And that was 1455 megahertz on the core clock. Why is this not going? Did we not run it again, or did we crash it? Let's go ahead and double check. 787. Yeah, it's not pulling this, so 1750, back that off. May have to reset this actually. Yeah, let's reset it. Pump that to 1750. That means that the core voltage was too low. Yeah, that usually means the core voltage was too low. Let's hit that. Hit that. No! I just need to reset that to always run as admin. Whatever, we're fine. All right, so there we go, 1750. The core is still too high. We got to lock the voltage, that's why. Lock the voltage at 787. Press L. Apply. There we go. Bring that up. Oh, and the core locked itself back down again. Okay. Let's lock it at 793 then. Does that bring it back up? That brings it back up. Okay. It was 793. Interesting. Okay. I thought it was 787. No, 787 what it was reading on NiceHash. That's right. Hive shell has been breaking today, Kaliba. Are you on the local network? If you're on the local network, you can connect directly to the shell through the IP, the local IP. The 3060 has not been tested yet, Asblaster. Oh, Rabbit, let me get you moderator too. Bam, done. You can post a link to your channel. There it is. V1's not tested yet. We will be testing V2. My V1 card has a bad fan. This week I'm going to try to get that fan replaced and test it as well. And we'll get individual, actually, okay, I'll ask you guys. For this in particular, we're obviously doing all this testing. Everything we find, should I create an individual overclocking like guide specifically for each GPU? Or should we just do all three of them, all three of these in a, I think we do one for each GPU, that way it's easier to find. They could be like probably like short 5 to 10 minute videos just with the specific settings, right? All right. So everything we find will create some really small, just really quick videos so you guys have a reference point. That's 220 watts, almost 84 megahash a second. I think technically it would run fine at 1850 though. So I'm going to apply that. I think the crash happened at 1900, so this should be okay. That's high memory clocks, not core clocks. Low core clock, high memory clock. That's how you rock it, sons. 84 megahash, 84.39 megahash a second. Let's go ahead and cap that. Bam. All right. You guys ready for the 3060? No mods. This card's completely stock. It's the Zotac linked down below. 84.7 megahash a second. Nice. Close that out. Shut that down. Reset overclocks. Shut down the system. And swap this in. Then, of course, we are going to be testing the 3050, even though we don't think it'll work. We will be testing the 3050 as well. But it probably won't work, to be clear. Thanks for the super chat. I can't read it from here yet. I think the 3070 Ti is my favorite out of these three. I don't have a 3060. I have 3060 Ti's, but they're all non-light hash rate. A newer 3060 Ti would be fun. But we'll have to get that at some point. Sometimes it's tricky to get these little PCI plugs in, huh? I can't get it in the hole. I got 2 kids. I got it in the hole 2 times, and that's it. I was done after that. There we go. It's screw golf. Let's go play some jiu-jitsu. Oop. Come on. There we go. Get you all plugged up. So it's on its own separate power supply. Get the power onto that going and system on. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Rabbit says, Asamatech NBMiner is officially released on HiveOS now. I'm not sure how long it's been out there, but they acted fast. Yeah, well, dang. So my video is useless now. We had a video we were going to have come out at 6 o'clock. Clearly, I need to go turn it off. Thanks for the update. Isn't it fun being a content creator? You're like trying not to release videos too close together, then you just get screwed. Unlisted. Save. That video is now obsolete. Let's go ahead and we'll just leave this. We'll leave those like it is. Bam! I think we are having issues on this system right now. Are we? No. We didn't plug in the HDMI cable. That's what we didn't do. Got to make sure you plug in that HDMI cable. I think we've been working a lot this weekend. I might have to, come on baby, don't make me reboot you. All the power's plugged in. We'll just reset. HiveOS is probably bugging because everybody's trying to update at the same time. We should see, we really should be seeing changes to the network here as well. Start to come online, huh? Oh, that's not good. Oh no. Yeah, ETH, hold on, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Hold on. This isn't good. We are starting to see no average network hash rate being pulled or difficulty. Maybe just eStats is broken. What's 2Miner's API showing? .07 petahash. Well, I don't know what that means. I'm trying to figure out why this site's broke. Whoa. You guys seeing the block times? 2. Okay, let's finish testing, but I think we may be looking at this in a second. Block times are going over 20 seconds. Look at that. 23 seconds, 24, 25 seconds, 26 seconds, 27 seconds, 28 seconds. Can one of y'all start looking into that while I continue to test, and then we will deep dive into this. Something's going on. Okay, so to give you an idea, block times are supposed to be like 15 seconds right now. And they're all consistently over 20 seconds. That one was faster. There's some weirdness going on right now, maybe with the APIs or something. Rabid says Etherscan's showing it. Etherscan's always kind of behind, isn't it? What is going on? Yeah, look at that. 20 seconds. And we're not getting average network. I think ETH stats is broken, possibly. Anyways, let's get back to testing. All right, guys. Yeah, the lav mic died, so we're going to be using this for a little bit while I charge it. All right. That's what you get with that's the only problem with these long live streams is my lav mic dies before it's ready to go. All right. So that means while I'm over there, you won't be able to hear me that good. But I'm going to go over there and I'm going to start tuning. Actually, first I'm going to see what our baseline is, right? So our baseline on the 3060 is, oh, pretty high. I think we can do way better than this. Yeah, we can do way better than this. All right. What was the 7301? That's not right. 818-8301. Okay. 41 megahash a second. 8301 means it can go up 1,000 pretty easy. Let's start with the memory overclock, then we'll move from there. Rabid Mining says, what mic is your lab mic? You need a wireless mic? Yeah, here I'll link it that way. But it's just the Go XLR. Or not Go X, sorry. I am dying. It's the Rode mic. Rode Wireless Go 2. You can do multiple. I just have the single double set. You can add multiple people onto it though, like you can buy a 3-piece or whatever. I have the black ones. Looks like they don't have the black ones in a pair of 2. There we go. Well, that comes with all the extras. Seems like the white one is the best price right now. I believe Red Fox uses this one as well, Rabid. .47 megahash a second. I actually can, well, first of all, it's a different network. We don't put miners on the same network ever. But I can actually control it. But my usually I use this little wireless thing, but it hasn't been working. The trackpad's broken, so I got to get a wireless. I have a wireless keyboard. Anyways, typically, yes, I do. Right now, it's just not working. So usually what I do is I just full screen preview like the Elgato cap card, and then I control with the wireless keyboard. But stuff's not working right now. Man of Water's getting 49 megahash a second on the 3060. Almost 50. Congrats, V2. This is a V2. Yeah, Hive right now is not the best thing to be trying to mess with. Clyde Tech says, that sound of tech makes sense to separate the networks, but what about stuff like Tiger VNC? Like I said, it's not necessary because I just have a cap card that takes the feed, and then I just use a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse. I just don't have that currently configured right now. I've done it before though. So most of the time when we do these types of tests, by the way, guys, we've been doing it on Twitch. Whether I'm like building nodes or whatever I'm doing. So we do this kind of thing quite a bit more than just over here, but for this one, we went ahead and stayed over here. Jason Mining says, at Simon Tech, have you noticed multiple GPU rig on the NBMiner 41 has random GPU drop in half or more randomly? Not yet, no, but I only ran it for like 3 hours before we got over here to get this going. People are saying MinerStat has the new update and it's working pretty smoothly. Yeah, Dwayne, I'm aware the HiveOS update is ready. Rabid Mining let us know. Awesome stuff. Great one says, ask Tech, can you make a video on side of the hash rate migration for the newbies and AOLs to monitor hash rate across pools? Yeah, we're also going to be doing it. We're going to be covering it live as well. Christian says, at Tech 3060 Ti by 8 rig got 2 GPUs now mining at 20 mega hash a second with NBMiner. Are you having trouble or something's not working, you mean? Tech Crazy says self-update failed when you try to upgrade NBMiner on HiveOS. Probably because everybody is basically trying to pull the same image that you're trying to pull. In fact, you should probably go just read watch Red Fox's crypto and manually do it. It'll be faster because you'll pull it directly from the GitHub instead of through HiveOS's repository. Additionally, they have 2 separate downloads, so you could change the URL from the one from GitHub to the other URL and do a git on that, and that would probably be the fastest. Shrin Voss, we always test one step at a time. We'll get there. Core clock, we can probably get below that, but we just failed there. So we know our max on memory is 1500 megahertz. Plus 1500. Lock that in real quick. 3070 Ti is my favorite right now, I think. Out of the ones I tested. I haven't tested a 3060 Ti. Revision 2 or whatever. All my 3060 Ti's are non-light hash rate, Rev 1. I have a 3050 here. We're going to try it. I don't think it'll work. Curve editor. We're tuning in the curve right now, guys. Just give me a little bit. John Lemon asked about R mode. Yeah, that's on my list. The weekend got a little weird, didn't it? eStats has their average hash rate back. I'm seeing that too. The difficulty's still not up. Yeah, we're core locking. We're locking the core. You can see in Afterburner we're at 800 millivolts on the core and 1350 megahertz. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and 1350 megahertz on the core clock. Let me check my reference numbers. $1,500. Okay. This one might be one where you end up taking the 48 mega hash a second and get your efficiency locked in. I don't know yet. We'll try to figure out what's going on. $10 Canadian Super Chat says, would it be possible to download the 510.60 for Linux on a main Windows machine and pull it from there into HiveOS manually? You should be able to just do a git manually, but you got to be a little careful because Hive does some weird, tricky things. It could mess you up. DJ says, ASMTech, the 3070Ti was the redheaded stepchild of the LHR cards. Now it's like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. Yeah, it's doing good. We already have our memory locked in. 1500 megahertz plus 1500 megahertz goes to 50 megahash. So a lot of overclocking, by the way, guys. Like, I start with the memory. I go up as high as we can until we crash. Once we crash, we back it down. We know that we're locked into 1500 megahertz on this particular card. We know that that gives us 50 megahash a second. What we're trying to do now is tune down the core so that we can reduce the power consumption. Gandalf Gray says, ASMTech, are we checking this with just straight up NBMiner on Windows? Correct. So 818 millivolts at 1507 megahertz is the key here. That's for like max hash. I think you could take it down and get better efficiency, possibly. It's 121 watts in the software, 139 watts at the wall. I forgot real quick. I forgot to screen cap that. HiveOS already has the unlock available. It's just people are having trouble actually downloading it. All right, let's play with this. That's as low as we can go without the memory clock going down. All right, I got someone at the door. All righty. So 117. So the lowest we can get is 117 watts at the wall, 42 mega hash. 102 in software. 102 in software. Okie doke. I accidentally locked them out, so I had to go let them in. All right, so let's go ahead and try the 3050, right? Might as well. I'm sure somebody has already tried, but we haven't, so let's try it. We already did the max hash, 50 mega hash a second. What was it exactly? We have it right here. Max hash settings. We'll have this all in wrap up individual tuning guides. 1500 megahertz on the core. 50 mega hash a second, 8,800 megahertz on the memory, which is a plus 1500 megahertz overclock, 818 millivolts, and that got us 60 mega hash a second, or 50 mega hash a second, excuse me. And that was at 130 watts at the wall, 120 watts in software, which is 0.38. That's the most efficient we've had. 3050 takes away hash rate in nice hash quick miner. That's true. We haven't tested it in here yet. HiveOS took the update down. All right. Probably won't work, but we'll give it the old college try, right? Give it the old college try. Projangle says we've gone up 100 terahash since the release. Have we? I'm still showing 903 terahash a second on ETH stats, but it's kind of broken right now. All right, let's see. It was worth a shot. Was worth a shot. No bueno. It is what it is. Alrighty. So that'll wrap up the stream today. Let's go ahead and go over the numbers real quick. I'll just rattle them off. Let me pull them in for you guys. Let's see. Which one is this? Yep, 3080 Ti, 126.6 megahash a second, showed 148 watts in the software, 340 watts at the wall with 120 volts, or 120 volt circuit on a gold rated power supply. We ended at 11,001 megahertz on the memory, which is plus 1750 megahertz in Afterburner. We ended up with a core voltage of 750 millivolts and a core clock of 1455 megahertz. Pretty good. Then on the 3080 Ti or 3070 Ti, we ended up with, is this right? Yeah, 220 watts at the wall on a 120 volt circuit through a gold rated power supply. Same memory overclock as the 3080 Ti at 11,102 megahertz. The core voltage was 793 millivolts and the core clock was 1335 megahertz, and that was 85 megahash a second. Then finally on the 3060, we ended up at 1500 megahertz clock on the core, 8800 megahertz clock on the memory. Don't worry, we'll be doing a separate video for all of these. 818 millivolts on the core clock. That resulted in 50 megahash a second at 120 watts in the software, at 134 watts at the wall with a 120 volt circuit through a gold rated power supply. There we go. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Don't forget to go hit up the great Ethereum migration, hash rate migration. That will be happening on May 13th at 9:45 a.m. Central, 10:45 a.m. Eastern. I'm tired. I'm going to go hit the pool, I think, real quick. I'm going to go jump in. And then I think I'm going to pause for tonight, guys. I think I'm going to pause. I'm going to hit the pause button. That's a lot of information. You guys should be able to pull all the info here. I have a guide on the HiveOS. Do you guys want me to release that guide? Does it sound like it's needed? Rabid? Was that needed? Is that guide needed now still? Sounds like that guide's still needed. I'm going to go ahead and launch it. I think it's needed still. Red Fox also has a guide. I'll put my guide up for you guys too, so you can check that out. And then tomorrow, don't forget, we have the Crypto Mining Morning Show at 9:45 a.m. Central. It looks like also I do think something weird's going on with Ethereum right now. The blocks through ETH stats are showing high. It's hard for me to see exactly. Let's look at Etherscan again. Yeah, we're seeing like minute long, not quite minute long. Some are minute long. Some are shorter. Well, that one was 38 seconds even on Etherscan, which they fluctuate, but it's weird that we're also getting ETH stats is having issues pulling that deal. I wonder if something's going on with Ethereum right now too. This could be causing some weirdness, I wonder. Oh, I might dig into that a little bit too. Thanks everybody for the help. I appreciate the donations today. That extra $15 is much appreciated. Hopefully you got something out of this live stream, and we'll get them released. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.